So, opening gambit, when it comes to WHO, I do not respect them as an organisation. I don't respect anything that they say. 他们是共产党的糟糕. You know, it's like, and that's exactly it, is that it's like you would disrespect an organisation, or you wouldn't respect it if they were in the pockets of a political ideology, or somebody who had political ends to the advice that was given. And I absolutely believe that that's the case with the WHO, so I do not believe anything that they say. Further, when it came to the pandemic, it was, I think, maybe 1 or 2 months into it, and it was like, strip naked and get on all fours, guess how we're going to test for COVID these days. And I was like, oh, so those are the people that you're with then. And that for me was just like, no, from then on, don't listen to them at all. And it's like, if you were to look at an organisation, that if I was to say that, like, of what I do and don't agree with, or what it is that really steered me away from medicine, it is so multifaceted and multifactorial, I really couldn't tell you. But the one thing that I would say is that if you were to single out one organisation, I think probably the WHO, and I think probably lockdown would be the spearhead. That, and then it's kind of like, after, oh well, let's just pretend it didn't happen, let's rewrite history, let's silence those who spoke out about it, you know, so that we're primed to make exactly the same mistakes again when the next one rolls around. Okay, well, that's a position in the industry, that's fine, but one less doctor. So yeah, so I don't really agree with anything that they say. However, when it comes to phone signals and Wi-Fi, there's two things that I'd like to volunteer. One is there is a farm in a place called South Moulton in North Devon, Quince Honey Farm, and the people who own it, they are like mad beekeeping people. He won't like, it's like you're going to the toilet and it's like, do you want a bee related fact to keep you company when you go to the toilet? And you're like, no. And he's like, well, here's one anyway. Bees go outside of the hive to go to the toilet. And if a bee goes to the toilet in the hive, the rest of the bees will seal it off, isolating that particular area. One of the things that they do kind of point out is exactly how sensitive bees' antennas are, and electrosmog, such as Wi-Fi, such as phone signals, I'm absolutely certain interferes with that. And I think that it's fairly likely that mobile phone signals are probably the main cause of the decline of the bee, I would think. I don't have the time to go into the, but certainly from a life sciences perspective, that's the way that I would see it. And then when it comes to phones, when I have mine in my pocket, I get a sharp stinging pain in my thighs. So what I normally do is I just take it out of my pocket to get rid of that, and that does the trick fairly well. So I absolutely believe it. I think the thing is that back in, when was it? Back in the late 90s, when they sold off the licenses for 3G communications in the country, the government repressed debate over whether phone signals were damaging or had the potential to do cellular damage. They obviously do, because they disrupt electrons. That's how they send signals. So, like, we know that, and that was a hot topic at the time. Could it be bad for your health? But that was kind of like stepped on. We don't listen to that anymore. And ever since then, because we've just all become so addicted to using them, people have just like not even revisited that question, which I think they should. Wouldn't surprise me if it did cause cancer. Something's giving the kids cancer these days and just don't know what it is. we need to look into every key line of inquiry, and that for me, the idea that their use of their phones could be causing cancer or giving them cancer is a very specific key line of inquiry.